Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday evening. It must be Idle Zone Toolgate. I was all slicky and everything.
Oh, man.
I had it down. It's Tailgate Tuesday on the Idle Zone Syndicate. Dennis Buck jumped right in there and got the first comment. And
What's
for
up,
that,
Dennis?
you win a round of applause. Round of applause for Dennis Buck. Cranker,
What's up?
we've had a Monday on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
with
It's
the old-
second Monday.
with the old podcast plan.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
No worries. You'll notice, those of you tuning in, that Mr. Kister, that's kind of fun to say.
Mr. Kister.
It's like an 80s rock band or something.
That's great.
Keith got a little snafu with his connection, so he'll be back here in a few minutes. So John is not here yet. We're not sure that John's going to join us tonight. For those of you planning to fish the Bass Cat Owners Tournament at Graham this weekend, due to high water and one or two floaters in the water. Did you see some of those pictures? Wow.
I did not see this.
Oh, my. Anyway, Bass Cat event is postponed. They're going to try to make it up later in the year, but that left quite a hole in the old what do I want to say? Kind of shot the the guy with the lodge right in the foot.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him.
Now, on the other side of that, for those of you that know Dave Cavell, Dave had come up from Louisiana, staying with John, and was going to fish the Bass Cat Owners event. And being Dave, and okay, Dave Cavell it's more of an experience than it is just a visit. So he brought, I don't know how many bags of crawfish from Louisiana, and they were going to boil those up tonight, so they didn't go bad, obviously. Whatever.
What an unfortunate event.
So
I mean, just have to eat as many crawfish as possible. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to gorge yourself till you're sick.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got to wash it down with a cold beer, because
Definitely.
that's how it works. But because of the cancellation with the event, the lodge isn't full, so they were trying to round people up, and John actually had more people show up than he had invited. So he may or may not join us later. No worries. That's the least of our worries today.
Oh, yeah.
Our super awesome special guest had to message about noon, and he had to reschedule. So right now, you have my delicious Bigfoot blanket. Me and the cranker knocking it out right now.
For at least a few more minutes. I got to go get my daughter from dance here in a minute.
Oh, yeah. And then it'll just be Dan.
It's that's like a normal day, for weekday for you.
Pretty much.
I mean, you can handle yourself for 20, 30 minutes on the live.
I can do that, because every time I make a video for KBN, by the time I get done rambling and starting over and second guessing myself, they all go 20 minutes anyway. So it's
yeah.
How was your Easter, man?
It was good. We did Saturday at my mom's house for dinner. Then went to church Sunday, and then went to El Dorado for my wife's side of the family to do Easter lunch there.
Sweet.
I even took a nap on Sunday.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Who's that?
Oh.
Howdy.
He's back.
I'm back.
Back again.
Back in black.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Now you're black. There you go.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
No worries, man. We're
Been a
low
busy,
key.
been a busy day, and but here I am, probably making you guys dizzy.
Nah. I've ridden in a boat with Kyle Klein. I can't get dizzy.
That's yeah. I
That's funny.
definitely
Shout
second.
out, Kyle.
He just had some success here a while back, if I'm not mistaken. TBF.
Yeah, went from the TBF National, where he finished 17th, to just a couple days later went to the state championship, TBF state championship at Truman,
Yeah.
and won the co-angler side again, requalified to go straight back to nationals next year.
That's outstanding. We need to maybe see if we can't have him on at some point.
I can't ever pin him down. What he does for a living is he's a seed salesman.
Yeah.
For farmers, he
Yeah.
sells crop seed and whatnot. So you know how that works. A lot of late nights with that, because he's got to meet them when they can meet them. But yeah, would love to have Kyle on sometime.
And I don't know necessarily what I missed, but
Nothing.
obviously one of our co's is not on here this evening. He's had a few things come up, so I'm sure he's having a decent time.
I explained to everybody that crawfish and beer were more important than us.
Yeah.
Or I guess if I really wanted to be a narcissist, I could say that I'm stuck on this narcissist thing, man. I guess if I really wanted to be a narcissist, I could say that crawfish and beer were more important than all of you also.
They are pretty tasty. I've been to Shreveport before and indulged in the southern cooking, and they were delicious. So
amen to that. I don't blame him. And I hope that he brings Dave Cavell on with him later, because Dave's a hoot, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Have you had a chance to make any, announcements of any kind, like just general business stuff? Because I feel compelled that we have got to talk about Big Hill this weekend.
Certainly. I have not. Would you like to go ahead and mention that now?
Have you got the flyer? Can you pull it up? So Saturday and or Sunday and or both, Mark Moody is putting on a memorial tournament for Miss Becky Miner. It's a buddy tournament. It'll be $130 cash at the boat ramp. Big Hill, Saturday, April 26th. Mound Valley boat ramp at the dam. 7 to 3. He filled me in a little bit Saturday about some of the cool stuff that's happening. So there will be some food and whatnot afterwards, which is going to be awesome. And there will be 70% of it paid back. The other leftover $30 is going to benefit Division 58, and also the same on Stockton. That benefit monies will benefit Division 126 over there and Mr. Matt Garrett. So I'm looking forward to this weekend, and I know I've had some phone calls from some guys that I don't normally fish against over there, saying that they're going to come and see if they can't catch a bass or two. So that'll be a good time.
And I don't know how much this would affect it, but there's the potential there with the cancellation of the Bass Cat owners event at Grand. May pick up a few more boats each day.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
cool. Very cool.
maybe things do happen for a reason, and we got all that water uh, flushed Grand Lake out, which our special guest this evening can talk about that a little bit, which I think is going to be interesting. But Big Hill, it's also up. Was a couple of feet high. 858 normal. I think I saw 860 at one point, and it's just got a natural spillway, and those grates over there aren't the biggest in the world, so but it can only let out so much water. Maybe it'll turn the fish on a little bit.
Man, let's hope so.
I know at Grand, they canceled that Bass Cat Owners Tournament, and I drove over the Neosho this morning really early on my way out of town, and it was coming in.
It was a boiling, huh?
Horse Creek was even boiling too. So, yeah.
Did you say we had a guest?
We do, and
yeah.
It's kind of cool because he tunes into about every podcast, and I've actually unfortunately had to fish against him in some team tournaments at Grand. He's a Grand Laker. He's from Afton, Oklahoma. He's a BFL Angler of the Year in the Ozark Division. He qualified as a co-angler in the All-American, which is awesome. World Fishing Tour champ on Table Rock, and he's a Angler Nation champion winner and also Team of the Year in that circuit. Brandon Ackerson.
What's up, fellas?
Welcome.
Welcome, Brandon.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad we got to put you on this side of the camera for once.
It's nice to finally put a face with a name, man.
Yeah, I did. It's ugly, but it's me. No, dude, Grand Lake right now. I mean, I think it's up 6 feet since Sunday, and climbing. I was actually out working today, and I heard them whistle. They opened another gate, but when I checked, we're still only letting out like 30,000, and we had 80,000 coming in.
Yeah,
and which is low because it was like 110,000 coming in.
That's a lot of water.
Oh yeah, it's insane. You guys were talking about seeing pictures. I saw a video up there by Sailboat Bridge, and I think you could probably walk across Grand Lake up there right now.
Oh wow,
that's what it looked like.
All the floaters and the thick mats and everything. Like it's bad. I knew I was out actually practicing for the Bass Cat today because I was going to fish it with Brock, and it was, I don't know, the bite switched off. Well, I mean, I didn't fish anything. I fished last weekend, but looking for new fish, it was pretty tough just with the water taking that drastic rise.
Yeah, it plays games on them. It's like they want to go get their job done like they're supposed to do, and then the next thing you know, they got 6 feet of water over the top of them, or 8, or whatever.
Well, not to mention they dropped it 2 feet right before it came up 6 or 7 feet. So they had no idea what to do. In that future bass, the ones that were locked on were still locked on beds, but some of those, their backs were out of the water because they dropped that water so low.
Yeah.
And then they turned around, and I mean, nothing they could do, but we got 5 inches of rain or whatever and just skyrocketed that lake up.
Yeah. That future bass, man, that was something.
This lake has been on fire this year. I mean, with AIA a couple weeks ago, it took like 19.5 to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
The week before that in future, it was 17.5 to get paid, which future bass is a tough one to get paid in because he only pays like 1 in 5 or 1 in 6.
Yeah. And
so,
the group of guys that fishes futures, like, I just feel like it's different.
Oh, it's like a championship every time. I mean, you got every Grand Lake hammer in that event. There's not one. I mean, I don't know any Grand Lake hammer that doesn't fish future bass.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. Like, we took out of a boat ramp, and Stephen Weitzel and Doug Johnson were taken out at the same time. And my team partner Moody asked them if they'd done any good, and Doug Johnson looks at us square in the face and goes, "I got a 7.5 pounder." And I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, that's what I was talking to my buddy Brad Cook. I was like, it's wild that to win on Grand right now, you have to have a 7-pounder.
Yeah.
Like everybody's catching 4-pounders, and then like we had a 5-pounder, and that was good enough to get us into ninth, you know. And then there was guys that had 6-pounders, and then the guys that had 7-pounders were in the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking back historically at some results. 2014, I fished with a friend of mine, Anglers in Action, that year, and I think we fished Nichols as well. But it was April 26, 2014. We had 1996 and got third, and big bass with a 612.
Yeah,
and that just tells the lake's not getting any. The lake's not getting anywhere. The fishing, I think, is getting better.
and much better. I thought last year would be like a peak year, but this year is just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. I mean, time will tell, I guess, you know, but it's a healthy lake. I mean, the fish that come in, you watch them get weighed, and the fish that we catch. I mean, we had one that we caught that looked like maybe it got beaked by a heron or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, they look healthy.
Oh, all mine were super healthy. Well, when we dumped them in the trough so he could release them, 3 of mine jumped out and jumped into the lake. Like, they'd been in the live well all day, and as soon as I put them in there, they shot out and shot right into the lake.
Yeah.
So, and all mine were pre-spawners. I wasn't bed fishing. I'm too short, and I'm not as fully colorblind as you, but I'm partially colorblind, and so I can't see them on it unless it's just a giant bed that's solid white and there's a dark dot in the middle. I'm not bed fishing.
I've only had just a handful of opportunities to bed fish, and man, I try to avoid it. I wished I wasn't that way, because the experiences that I've had bed fishing have been awesome. They've been fun, but
Mhm.
I'm the same way. Like when I go to Grand, I'd just rather not see them.
Yeah. I mean, I've bed fished for beds you can't see, like, you know, just drag a jig, you know, to feel the hard spot, and then you'll get bit, you know. And most likely that's generally a bed. Not every time, but a lot of times that's a bed this time of year.
So the majority of the fish that you caught, you think were pre-spawn?
Yeah, all mine were pre-spawn. I mean, I know half of them were, because they were in 6 or 7 foot of water, and the water had dropped 1.5 foot, so they were over 8 feet deep 3 days before that. If they were hanging in the same area, you know.
How many keepers you think you caught?
Oh man, I 45. I mean, you couldn't not throw at the bank and catch a 2-pounder. Like, I don't know. I mean, some of the guys that I talked to waiting to get our checks, my buddy Brian Potter, he's like, I bet we caught 80 fish today. I'm like, yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. And we started out with a little adversity. We backed in that morning. Well, first we pull up there and it's pouring down rain.
Oh yeah, it was nasty.
we just sat in the truck. Like, we didn't even. I looked at my clock and it was time to start casting. I said, "How about we just sit here for a minute?" I looked at the radar. I was like, "It's going to be gone in 5 minutes. Let's just hang out." So we just hung out at the ramp. It finally quit raining. I go out. I get the boat ready. Get backed in, and we just started where we put in, and we're fishing around. All of a sudden, I got a voltage alarm going off, and I look down. And I'm reading like 11.2 volts. My cranking batteries didn't charge. And so, I mean, I fished around. I already had a 5-pounder, and we had a limit, but it was 1.5s and 2-pounders. And I was like, well, I'm going to try and crank it. Maybe it's just not reading right. No, it just click, 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 click. So I started calling, and luckily my dad, I waited till 8 o'clock, and called my dad, and he's like, yeah, I'll bring you down a jump box. So he brought me a jump box, and I jumped it. I ran to the next spot. I shut off all the electronics and just kept the live well going. And it started every time after that, but never just started fishing by feel.
I hope that the bass world just heard that sentence, fished by feel.
I mean,
What's
I mean,
that?
this
I
was,
don't know.
I mean, this is obviously a tournament that you didn't need electronics. Like you could throw a bare hook at the bank and probably catch 12 pounds, you know, but
I don't know about that, but no.
I didn't talk to a lot of people that struggled. I mean,
We didn't either, but
we didn't lose anything. We only had the 4 real good bites. We had a 3 1/4 pounder in our bag.
I think we had pretty much identical fish.
Yeah, our big one was a 5.30 or something like that.
Yeah.
And one was like a 3.25 or something.
Yeah. Your dad apparently he lives pretty close.
Yeah, well, he lives about 5 miles from the ramp we use. He lives in. I grew up in Cleora, which is just south of Afton.
Yeah.
Which is the Horse Creek.
Yeah.
We put in Horse Creek, so he just ran over there and brought me a set of jumper cables and that jump box. But luckily, I didn't need it after the first one. But
Yeah.
there were 4 boats in that pocket that we started in, and another team had a 5-pounder and they had like 15 pounds in there. We had 13.5 in there. Another team had a limit, but they didn't say what they had. And it's not a very big pocket where we started. And there was one guy fishing solo and he only had one good one, and it was a 3-pounder. But he came in later because he didn't start in there. He had to take off out of, a regular ramp. The other 3 we all started there.
Yeah. Cool. So you've grown up on Grand Lake your whole life. You got any sneaky little lakes around there other than Uchi to go sight fishing this time of year?
Be right back, guys.
I'm not a sight fisherman, so I don't really try and find anything like that. I mean, Spavinal, I like going to Spavinal more than Uchi, but I don't know that Spavinal is a good sight lake. I mean, it's full of grass.
What about Flint Creek? You ever drove over there?
Is that the pump back?
Plant?
Yeah, the pump back. No, I never. I got invited one time to go over there, but I had to work and I didn't get to go. But you can't have the big motor,
Well, the one I'm talking about, it's over by like Gentry and.
Oh, you're talking about Swepco.
Yeah, Swepco.
I've been over there a few times. I usually go over there early winter though.
Oh, okay.
Because that water, it's heated, so those fish get shallow sooner. But it's got giants in it. But back 4 or 5 years ago, when everybody was posting 30, 35-pound bags, then you got to show up. If you go on a weekend, you got to show up at like 5 a.m. because that boat ramp only holds like 10 boats.
Yeah, I've been on it one time, and I don't remember. It was like February or March, and because I used to dump coal trains in there, and we were throwing like Zara spooks and catching them in 5 foot of water in like February or March. It was a blast. I remember the water being like super gin clear though.
Yeah, when I was there, it wasn't that clear. When I was there, I was just going down the bank. It was like February, and I was going down the bank with a chatterbait. I was cold, but the water wasn't.
Yeah. It's kind of like we've got a power plant lake up here in between here and Kansas City, and when they were generating power with coal powered stacks, it was that way, and we'd go just throw 1/2 ounce lipless and chatterbaits and spinnerbaits and whatever else, and man, I mean, it had some giants in it. Still does.
You talking about Lacine?
Yeah.
I got a buddy that goes there pretty regularly. He always calls me and tells me about the 6 and 7 pounders he's catching.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit too far. I actually, drove up there, woke up one morning, drove up to fish a tournament with Thomas Heinen, and it was like 2.5 hour drive from my house to there, and we fished all day and didn't get a bite. It was 17 degrees when we took off that morning.
Ew, that's
Yeah.
nasty.
Cold.
Is
Nope.
that the one that Travis and Brock won?
No, this was a couple years before that one. I think it was the same tournament, like same time of year, but it was one of those. No, I can't remember if he needed a sub for the hot water, whatever little trail they run there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I was subbing for one of those, but yeah, it was ridiculously cold, and we did. But there was one team that got bit, and that was it. Everybody else had like 1 or 2 fish or 0. But I do like that lake, and my buddy, he calls me. I mean, I bet he goes there at least, I don't know, 10 times a month.
Oh
And
wow.
he's from Kansas City, and he's got a buddy that goes there a lot, and so they travel together and fish that lake quite a bit.
So you fish anything other than Grand? You go to Hudson once in a while, or?
I don't. The only time I get off Grand Lake is to go to. Well, I say that Angler Nation. That traveled to different lakes, but other than that, it's just BFLs. Whatever's on the BFL schedule, which we about to go to Broken Bow here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Just missed a check at Eufaula by like 10 ounces.
Broken Bow might be a good one.
I hope so, because I hate the river and it's next. So the river in June, there's nothing fun about for me.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you, I've had 3 zeros in the last 2 years for the whole year. Like in the entirety of the last 2 years, I've zeroed 3 times. All 3 of them were Arkansas River.
it's got your number.
Yeah, me and that place do not get along. And I've locked down, I've locked up, I've not locked at all. And we just do not get along. Which I don't know why, because I love to fish shallow. And that place is all shallow. And I just can't find them there. I've never been. I think in 7 years of fishing, including co-angler and boater, I might have caught 5 fish total out of who knows how many events.
I've only been on it one time, and it was when Moody was test driving his bass cat, 19-foot bass cat that he had, and we had a near-death experience, and I had.
That sounds like the river. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, for me, I just don't like going places where you can do more damage to your boat than first place pays.
Well, we almost got ran over by a barge.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Yeah. We were tooling. He was there to test drive this boat. We launched it. The guy stayed at the ramp, and we started upriver, I guess, downriver, I think. I don't know. Anyways, we started driving down the river, and we come around a corner. We hit a wave. We come down, and the motor just geeks out, dies, and we're like, oh, crap. And here comes this barge, and, of course, it's not stopping.
No, they don't have brakes.
We hadn't even tried to test the trolling motor at this point. Thank goodness it worked. Thank goodness it worked, because we got over as quickly as possible, and it washed us up. So,
Well, did you see Matt Robertson's story on Kentucky Lake
no.
during the Bass Open that was there? He was practicing with a buddy, and something happened, and he lost power. Like, so he was in the process of switching out his trolling motor battery over to his cranking battery, and he looked up and there was a barge coming. And
yeah, I did see that.
yeah. And so he was right in the middle of it. So then he stopped trying to do that, and he started trying to switch it back to the trolling motor battery. And he said he was just back there holding the the ends down on the battery, telling his buddy to hit the trolling motor. He said they barely got out of the way of that barge.
Mm.
What a mess.
I've had a few close brushes with the barge. Blake, close the door. My son's trying to come outside. Come on.
Well, bring him in there.
We was at the Mississippi River, and it was foggy. And soon as I came out of the fog bank running down the river, there was just a giant barge right in front of me that I was swerving to go around. But the fog bank, you couldn't see the front of your boat. Like, you're literally just running by graph, hoping nothing's in front of you. And yeah, I don't like barges. I don't like rivers. It's like Rayburn. I mean, Rayburn is a fun lake, don't get me wrong, but any lake full of stumps, I'm picky. Oh, at the Bass Open, speaking of boat damage, that you probably saw the story of the kid that knocked the motor off. I watched that happen. Like, I'm fishing down the bank and I hear this huge whack and look up and I see this bass boat just do a 360 and water go everywhere. And so I strapped the rods down and went running out there. And I shut down like 150 yards from him because on my graph, there was no water in front of me. Like, it was this deep. And I'm like,
Wow.
thinking running 70 across there. But another boat was coming around on the other side and was going to get to him first. And he was standing up and on his trolling motor. So I just turned around and left. I was like, well, it looks like he's all right. But yeah, I mean, he was getting it through there, and then boom. It sounded like two cars hitting each other. It was.
We get the pleasure of seeing some of that stuff from time to time on these lakes filled with timber.
Yeah.
Man, there's been times where I've been fishing like out in the middle, and it's like just random people just running at you, and you just like throwing your arms up in the air, doing whatever you can just to get them to stop, because they're fixing to make a nasty mistake. It's like, oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My son left the door open. My dog's gonna try and run out. My house is pretty chaotic. 2 little kids, 2 dogs, teenager. That's why I'm outside.
Well, it's a nice evening to be outside. So
For sure.
What's up, Max?
Hi.
You're high.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
How was your Easter?
Pretty good. How about yours?
Good, but we got flooded.
Oh no.
What's this? What?
A podcast. You tell them hi.
Hi, dude.
Hi.
Tell them your name. No, just gonna pick your nose.
I'm gonna pick my nose too.
Me too.
oh, get them out of here.
You are welcome.
When you asked me, I was hoping John was going to be on here so I could give him a hard time about LiveScope.
Well, you get off here, you just drive over there and eat crawfish with him.
Yeah, I know. I was disappointed that you guys said he was having a crawfish boil, and I didn't even get an invite, and I only lived 20 minutes.
He said he had more people show up than he planned. I don't know if he's going to run out of crawdaddies or not.
I want to eat crawdad.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem with crawdads is when I eat them twice. You're not supposed to say shark. This is a podcast, not private.
Where would he have learned that from?
I don't know. Maybe his sister.
Nope,
Oh.
my mom.
You're ratting yourself out, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, Cranker,
Yo.
have you had your daughter dance yet, or is
No. It's here in the second week of May, I think, second weekend of May.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll expect action photos of that.
Oh, nobody needs to see the what happens with that and me and dancing. It's not
Live.
good.
You got to go live, special edition.
Oh yeah, that's what we need. Yeah.
You could have the three of them commentate your dance moves and be like,
Oh no, it'd be
Oh,
zeros across the board.
"Oh yeah, give you a final score and everything."
Yeah, exactly. Yep. There ain't much judging going on. It's just all bad for me.
Brandon, where are you going next?
I am going to. Where am I going next? I got Broken Bow, and I got.
Mama, no.
Oh, and then the river. The next Bass Open is Leech Lake, but it's not till August.
Yeah, I knew it was Leech, but I couldn't remember when. But yeah.
It's like the first,
Pardon me.
which me and Brock both have to have like a top 20 finish if we're going to make the EQs. It's
You can do it.
these one day $2,000 derbs aren't really working out.
Man.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
It's been a rough year for everybody's circuit.
Oh yeah. It's been the weather. I mean, there for a while it seemed like the wind never blew under 15. Like it was either 15 or 50.
Mama.
Is that your goal, Brandon, is to try to make the elites, or are you just kind of trying to hunt for a classic berth, or what?
No, I
what's
want elites. I want to be the old guy out there trying to compete with them young guns.
Wow.
That's cool.
Old guy. What are you, 30?
40.
You are not.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you said teenager earlier, I guess. So.
Yeah, I have a 17-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still the elder statesman tonight. So.
Well, in the fishing world,
Unfortunately, I mean, I'm 36, and I feel like I still fish like I'm 12 sometimes. I mean, it's
Yeah,
pretty.
he does.
It gets pretty ugly out there from time to time. So,
Poor
yeah.
Moody.
The when we get off the A-rig bite and it's time to start skipping jigs, it takes a while to get that feel back.
I try to practice a little bit in the garage on the concrete, just so I don't wall bash somebody's dock and feel like a complete moron. You know.
Hey, there's Travis Birch watching. If you want to flip him off or whatever you want to do.
I can flip him off. His trails made me a lot of money.
Amen to that. He's got LBAA coming up too. I think I believe Bull Shoals is next. I think maybe starting next weekend. I'm not sure. I think it's the first part of May, first few days of May. He'll comment. Oh yes, thank you, Travis, for the lovely Sasquatch blanket. You guys are jealous, aren't you?
I'm jealous.
That's what it is.
Did you take it and snuggle with Mrs. Barrett? Did she want to?
You damn right we did.
Made her enjoy it, huh? As much as she didn't want to. The wheels are turning here. You're gonna get yourself in trouble.
Brandon, what's that big white thing in the background there?
Oh, that's the bird.
Where'd you get that bird from?
Bill's Marine.
This guy took Oklahoma?
Yep.
Do you know a guy named Bill? No,
I,
I'm just kidding you. Seth and Seth and his dad Terry pretty well.
I mean, I know him. I don't know him all that well. Who I dealt with mostly was TJ.
Oh, okay.
Now TJ Martin. Now he's gone, and he has his tackle shop.
I didn't know. I wasn't quite for sure. I knew TJ had worked there for a while. Seth had talked about him some off and on. But
Yeah, he.
me and Seth go way back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we went to school together.
Okay.
Just right up there in Afton.
In Afton.
Yeah. Yep. Northeast Technology Center, buddy.
Ah, okay. I was like, wait a minute. I went to Afton. You worked there.
Yeah, we went to boat school together.
Yeah, I didn't go to Votech.
Good bunch of guys at Bill's Marine, though.
Do what now?
I said good bunch of guys at Bill's Marine. I heard they added a showroom. Is that right?
I mean I haven't been there in a couple months, but I mean they have a couple boats inside.
Well, I haven't been there in a couple years. So.
Well, I haven't bought a boat in a couple years because boats aren't selling. But
Yeah.
if you know anybody looking for a white 2022 model, I got one. Just exactly what they need.
Has it got low rances on it, or what's it rigged out with?
All Garmin. I got 3 12-inch Garmins, and then live scope.
Are you running the 34?
Yes. Yep. Got the 34. Got the Garmin trolling motor. I'm thinking about actually selling the current trolling motor and getting the new Garmin trolling motor, but we'll see.
You got any critiques on those boats whatsoever? I haven't really had a chance to talk to anybody about Phoenix boats a whole lot. I haven't got a chance to ride in one. I know Seth was just dying to get me in one at one point, but
it's by far the smoothest riding boat I've ever been in. They said the 721 model was supposed to be the best for big water and that kind of thing. And then I had a 721. I started out in that, and then I sold it and I bought this 920. And I was nervous because I didn't want, like, the 721 was so good, I didn't want to go backwards. And this 920 has been hands down. I mean, in big water, I'm not even trying to go fast. You just go with what the waves give you. And It's such a ride that you're passing everybody and you're not even trying to. Like, it just.
What is the differences between the 7 and the 9? Is that just the model years or
The top cap?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same hull. Just the top cap is wider up front. The 721's got a real narrow deck.
Okay.
So, but both boats that I've had, I was extremely happy with. Now, I will say, everybody says the 721 is supposed to run like 78. Mine never did. Mine ran like 72 top. And
That's still pretty good, though.
This one will run 75.
And that's loaded down with tournament tackle, or?
That's loaded down with tournament tackle and just me. It runs 73, usually runs about 73 and a half when my team partner gets in.
That's fast enough.
Yeah. I mean.
And of course, when Blockett gets all the government regulations and everything, and 55 mile an hour is going to be it. So.
Well, when Blockett gets done, we won't even be allowed to fish anymore. PETA
will be a sin.
I mean, you can't eat them. They might just kill them all just so we can't catch them.
Run the shocking boats with electrodes out there and just kill them off and fill the pits in.
Yep. Fill it in, back to a river. The fact that I don't know. I don't even want to get. I mean, I'll get started. I can rant on that for hours.
So can I.
Come on now, mister. You're the one that's always poking the bear in the comments. And we gave you the free reign here tonight and got nothing.
I mean, how are you going to talk about it's hurting fishing and hurting that and how you should be doing better when you ain't catching limits? And talking about how nobody, I used to comment, he blocked me, but He used to comment because he said nobody wants to watch this and that, and I said, Randy, nobody wants to watch you weigh in 2 fish anyway. And
The truth hurts.
I get it. The guy used to be good, and it was a different era. I don't know. He knew how to find him way back in the middle of nowhere where nobody wanted to go, and that's a great skill to have. But just to be so negative day in and day out, when like I would give him the benefit of the doubt if he was weighing 17 pounds every single tournament and not cutting a check. I'd say, you know what, maybe you're right, but he's not. I mean, he's qualifying for BFL regionals without cashing a check the whole year. Like, I mean, get out of here. just quit. I don't know.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm not going to drive somebody down that crazy, but I will give him. I don't have any problems giving credit where credit's due, and he could reel a bass in back in the 80s.
Yeah, he used to smash them.
Yeah. Keyword was 80s.
Well, it's just like so.
Maybe 90s. I don't know.
Who won? What's his name? Dollar Bill Lowen.
Dollar Bill.
He'd been struggling, right? And all he's been doing is complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. You know what I hadn't heard him do one time this year? Complain. He quit the negativity, quit complaining, and he's crushing it this year.
He's doing an awesome job.
Like, at some point, you got to quit worrying about what everybody else is doing and just do your thing.
Yep, absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, it's not easy being an amateur on Grand, even though I've fished down there for a long time.
Yeah.
Just as long as a lot of those other guys have. I haven't done as well as some of them other guys because I don't get to fish every day. And sometimes I only get to fish down there maybe 1 week in a month, but that's my problem and not theirs. But for a long time, worried about what all those guys were doing to catch bigs, and instead of just let it go.
Yeah, well, and that's the way I go into these opens. Like, I'm not in the top half of talent when I start out in an open, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to beat those guys. I have to beat the lake. I have to beat the fish. You go catch the fish, figure it out. Now you have to figure it out because those guys don't miss, whether it's the opens or the elites. Like, they don't miss. You have to catch them. So it's just up to you to beat the lake every day in, day out.
You know, I've kind of got a feel. I've got a pretty decent feeling for what your style of fishing probably is. Did you pick this year to get into the opens because you felt like it would fit your style, maybe, or was this just the year where you just said, "Screw it, let's try it"?
I came back. This is probably one of the. I mean, not that they don't fit my style, but it was 3 lakes I've never been to, so that was already a negative. But I quit fishing the opens for 2 years because kids. So Blake will be 3 in August, and Briar just turned 1, and so we was having babies, and now we're done doing that. And I said, all right, I'm going back. So that was the big factor. Just wanted to be home, and I say I wanted to be home. The last year when my daughter was born was the regional for Bass Nation on the Arkansas River. So I was practicing on the Arkansas River. I drove home. We had a baby. I woke up the next morning, hooked up to the boat, went back to the river.
Oh, your wife's a saint.
And so I fished day 1 and I zeroed. And so I just came back home. I didn't fish day 2 because I knew I didn't have a shot. So,
I looked up a few stats, and it looks like you fare pretty well on Lake of the Ozarks. What's up with that?
Lake of the Ozarks loves me, and I do not know why. But I mean, it sets up a lot like Grand, so I know it just. But the first time I fished it, that first third place I got there, I went and I put in 3 hours of practice up this river or creek, whatever, and I caught some good ones there. And I showed up the next morning, and it was chocolate milk.
Wow.
So the only thing I did is I just bounced back down the creek till I found clearer water, and I hadn't fished the back of any pocket that whole day, or the day before or that day. And I just happened to pull to the back of this cut, and there was 4 brush piles back there, bait all around them, and probably 15 bass on every one of them. And I just rotated those brush piles till like noon and had my 18 pounds.
Wow.
Never moved, just lucked out and just landed. I mean, it was like the third spot I hit after I saw that my water was blown out. But
Yeah.
but the bait was in there, and it was stacked in there, and those fish were sitting on those brush piles just waiting to ambush, and I just smacked them right in the face.
I guess so. Jiminy Christmas.
And TJ Martin, I think, weighed in 26 pounds that day.
He can reel a bass in too. I can tell you that.
I got third with 18 pounds, and he won it with 26. And I think second place was 19. He was the only 20-pound bag, and he was 26 pounds. And then I don't know what happened. And so it was the same year as the year that I won the AOI in the Super. I went into day one in 4th place or 5th place in points, and it was a grinder of a day. I had 5 bites all day. I caught the last fish in the last 12 minutes, and it was in like 15 foot of water on a dock sea anchor. I just rolled my spinner bait over it, and it came out and crushed it. And that gave me 13 pounds, 2 ounces, and 13.1 made the cut. So
Oh,
it took 30. We took 32 boats to day 2, and I was in 31st. And all the dock talk at weigh-in was talking about behind docks and how everything was buzzbait and this and that. And I hadn't had a buzzbait bite or nothing, but I was fishing behind docks, and I still wasn't getting bit. And I told my co-angler on day 2, I said, "We're just
uh-oh.
Oh no.
He was fixing to tell his co-angler something on day 2, by God. And his phone just went dead.
Shoot.
We'll see if we get him back
We were in the heat of the moment.
We'll
next
circle
week
back.
on the Idle Zone Syndicate.
The mystery surrounding.
Oh, he's back.
Hey,
oh, you got me?
hey,
Yeah.
welcome back.
You were fixing to tell your co-angler something, and then it just went
Yeah,
black.
I forgot to put my phone in airplane mode, and the infamous Brock Bila called me. So
Wiener.
so I told my co-angler, I said, we got to go up here. I didn't catch anything on these docks yesterday, but we got to keep them honest because everybody's talking about docks. And I skipped that first dock and caught a 4-pounder. Skipped the second dock, caught another 4-pounder. Went around like 3 docks later, caught a 5-pounder, and finished that day with 17 pounds and moved all the way up to 3rd. So
And smiled all the way to the check line.
oh yeah, it was like the second biggest bag that day, and so I basically, that lake for some reason likes me. It's nothing I did. It just puts me in the position I need to be in.
So what's some other springtime stuff that you like, fishing tactics that you like? You like throwing fishing jig, you like casting spinner, moving baits around, you like maybe throwing a floating worm?
I do not throw a floating worm, believe it or not. Like
Oh.
literally never. For me, my favorite thing is burning the bank. I mean, just going as fast as you can. I like to alternate. I'll throw a spinner bait between the docks, and then I'll skip a chatter bait under the cables, and pick it apart, but pick it apart quickly.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I'll also I don't mind. I like putting my bait where I don't think others can get the bait. being on Grand Lake, like that one of those 4-pounders I caught last weekend was over 2 cables, like, and I'm like, nobody's probably put a bait back there, throw over there, pick it up, 4-pounder. Like,
You just like to make things interesting.
oh, my team partner was like, that's the nervous I've ever been in my life. I was like, well, you just got to catch it on the first bounce. The second bounce is when the hook comes out.
How long of a net do you carry?
Just a normal one, just a little 4-footer or whatever. Like nothing special. So you had the only reason I threw in there because I threw up beside the corner of this dock and I got snagged on a stick that I didn't see, and I went up there and got it, and I looked over and I was like, "There's a fish in there." So I just fired over there. There was one there. Just got to get lucky, get them to jump at the right time.
Yeah, and they're just. I have to give credit to the dock builders on Grand Lake of the Cherokees nowadays. I think they're in like some sort of a battle with the bass fishermen because it's like a challenge. How many cables can you run to your dock?
Oh yeah.
We're afraid it's going to move side to side a little bit. So let's put 6 on each side and let's crisscross.
Yeah, the crisscross is what gets me. Those are the ones that I hate. I mean, but at the same time, those are the ones that I try and see if I can skip my jig 40 feet in there, and get underneath everything. And I usually blow it up, picking out backlashes 30 times a day. And I even got the Shimano Metanium DCs that aren't supposed to backlash. Well, let me tell you, they should have me in the R&D because I'll blow one up.
What's his name?
That's Danny. He says Bigfoot stole his libation. That's producer Crank, and that's Brandon. And then I get the opportunity to lose to him and his team partner quite often on Grand Lake.
You beat me last time.
1 out of how many?
What'd you have? 20 what?
21.
2066.
We had 20.21.
Yeah. Wasn't a whole lot of difference. So man, it was a fun weekend. I kind of wish the water hadn't have come up crazy like that because
Yeah, I didn't want it to.
I mean, I wasn't going to be able to make it back down there this weekend unless I went on Sunday, but man, it was fun.
This lake's been fishing so good, and then we get something like this, it's just gonna flip it upside down.
Yeah.
Now, if it would come up and stay up, that'd be great because we'd have so many bushes and trees. And I mean, I was flipping trees and bushes today, and I'm like, man, this is fun. But they won't. We're supposed to get rain again next week, so they're gonna pull this thing down so fast that these fish probably won't even. You might be able to catch them up for a day or two, and then they're gonna be retreating.
Yeah. I enjoy when the water comes up like super fast like this, like getting really stupid and fishing in like cow pastures and just random places that you can only get your boat into like maybe once a year if you get lucky,
Oh yeah. Like there's a couple years ago, I was flipping flower pots and birdhouses.
I can remember Palm de Terre a long time ago in a Mr. Bass that was like 13 foot high and just trying to find something isolated because that's where I was getting bit. But like, remember like, what in the world is that? And then realizing, oh, that's somebody's picnic table in their front yard.
I've caught bass off picnic tables. Yeah. Picnic tables, back porches, RV axle.
Back porches. Just roll up to somebody's back porch.
RV axle.
Yeah, there's plenty of trailer parks around here. Somebody doesn't get theirs out in time. You can fish their wheels.
I caught one out of flooded men's room at Long Shoal at Truman one time on a spinnerbait.
What'd they call that? A ditch pickle or what was that, DB?
I called it a cornback rattler, but I don't know what.
Catch a fish out of a Johnny on the spot. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brandon. Yeah.
That's Brandon. You said it.
My first fish that I ever caught was at Big Hill.
Big Hill?
Yeah, it was stuck inside a tree, and then I got it out, and then there was a fish right below it, and then it just bit it, and then my daddy just told me to pull it in, and I was like,
Did you boat flip it? Or bank flip it?
no.
We boat flipped it. Yeah, we boat flipped it. And it wasn't stuck in a tree. Your spinnerbait was stuck in a tree. Because you cast in a tree.
Yeah, at Big Hill.
I've never been to Big Hill. I lived in Chitopa for a couple years, and everybody's like, "We need to go to Big Hill," and I never went.
Well, you lived in the catfish capital of the world, so I mean,
I did.
Why leave?
I did. It was some of the worst years of my life.
Mhm.
I mean, it says so right on that cinder block wall as you leave town.
I'd go down there and I'd watch and catch a ton of catfish.
Yeah, Big Hill's got flooded timber, grass, rocks, smallmouth, largemouth, and walleyes, flathead, catfish, perch, all the crappies, all that. But it's just a little 1,500 acre lake, but it's a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
the right time of year, you can do about whatever you want and catch a bass. So
Like that fish?
good time.
Now, I'm jealous of Mr. Crank's trip this coming weekend. And I had really hoped to accompany Mr. Crank on his trip, and that's not going to work out. But tell us about your family trip there, Mr. Crank.
Yeah, so we're going to the Mind Wildlife area there. It's like just northeast of Oswego,
Yeah.
and kind of south of where Big Brutus is at. So we this is our third year going there now. So we figured out there's some cabins there to rent. So we rented the cabins on one of the pits. So we've got a few of them that we've done better at than others. So we're going to try and focus on those this year and hopefully catch a big one this year. We've had some big ones follow glide baits and stuff like that before. So hopefully it's just a timing deal and we can get a big one out of there this year.
I think one of the pits is a trout pit that's got some cabins on it, doesn't it?
Yep, that's the one we're staying at.
Yeah.
And that's where I've had the giants follow the glide bait before.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I've seen the biggest ones.
I
Haven't got them to commit yet, but hopefully this year's we're going to get one.
You know, that's how those California bass got so big, right? Eating
Yeah.
trout.
Yep. So my plan is to throw a little more swim baits this year and see what, coal shads, glide baits, things like that too. Try and get them down there.
I don't think those pits get dirty runoff or anything.
Not many of them. Yeah. They're usually pretty clear. It's like fishing a small little table rock is kind of what I compare it to.
Yeah, with like some
clear.
funny grass or something in it.
Yeah, they do have a lot of grass, like grass walls that'll come off and they just go right down. We catch a lot of fish in 15, 20 foot is a lot of times where it's at.
I used to trout fish off that dock right across from that church.
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
I've been to the pits a few times, but I've never went fishing. But I saw a bunch of fish when I was walking around them because the water was so clear.
Yeah, it's a fun place. I mean, it's different than, a lot of other places that you can fish that are smaller waters around here. It fishes bigger just because of the depth, I think. So
maybe that's what they need to turn loose in Grand.
Some trout.
Some good old rainbows. Wouldn't that be something stupid?
I don't think they'd survive.
They'd be dead in a week.
Or 8.
Yeah,
that's what it would be.
By the Florida strain piranhas.
Do you think that the Florida strain is why this lake's fishing so good? the stocking program that we had, the small.
I think that Grand has just had some good spawns, and it's just getting in kind of a swing. I mean, it's a 50,000 acre lake,
Mhm.
and when you get to be that size of fishery, I think its bad years are still better than some of the lakes around its good years.
Right. Well, there was a lot of talk. I've been hearing some guys talk about, oh, it must be those Florida strain. And I'm like, I don't think anything I've caught had any Florida in it whatsoever. These are all northern.
I think there was a tournament last year that we had a couple that were pretty good size that somebody was like, those look like Florida strain that they stocked in here. And we took pictures of them, and afterwards I'm like, I don't know. I mean, they kind of had like a little weird hump to the top of their head, like right before their eyes. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they just look different.
So to me, the Floridas look more splotchy, like they've got more spots on them than, the northerns are just like real dark backed and sides, and to me, but
I'm trying to remember what Gene told us, what Gene Gilliland told us about, and I remember him talking about the splotchiness. So maybe that's what it was.
We're going to have him on. We're going to have him back on, and maybe midsummer or something John was talking about last week. We'll have to ask him about that.
Yeah, and I think John misunderstood what I was commenting about when I said that we could eat them all, because he was referencing Bassmaster, and I was saying Bassmaster could literally eat every fish they catch, and they wouldn't affect any lake they go to. But just the one trail, like, yes, if we all started eating all our fish, we'd obviously affect it.
Sure.
But one trail, I don't. That's I don't know.
I think it's a little extreme to speculate that one trail, 5 fish a day, 20 fish for a week limit, 100 anglers is going to affect anything.
Right. When it's not even a full 100 all 4 days, it's 100 days, then it's 50, then it's 10. But that's the same thing. People say that Bassmaster is bad for lakes, and maybe it is because when they whack them, everybody shows up the next year. Like every tournament trail tries to schedule a tournament there. Every weekend fisherman tries to get time on the water because of that. But in terms of like the ecosystem, I don't think there's anything that they could do to ever hurt anything. And at the same time, people talk about, well, they need to ban live scope and this and that. And I'm like, what if they did ban live scope? That everybody else would still have their live scope. If the top 3 all went no live scope, that doesn't affect the other 50,000 people out here fishing with the live scope.
Yeah, you're talking about limiting 300 anglers.
Yeah, and they're still
That's
going
not much.
Not going to have it in that tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll be an interesting discussion this time next year. Maybe things will change. Maybe things will stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I personally like it the way it is. I've always said that. But I also like watching the MPFL, and I like watching Bassmaster. I just like watching fishing. I really don't care how they catch them. I liked Ben Milliken's analogy of it. Whenever he was talking about it, he said, "Okay," and he set the camera off to the side, and he goes, "Okay, let's just pretend that I'm fishing the bank." And his back was to the camera, and he was casting a rod. And he goes, "Okay, let's pretend that I'm using my forward-facing sonar now, fishing." And all he did was look down and start casting his rod.
Yeah.
He goes, watching fishing's boring anyways. Like what? I thought that was funny. I'm
Yeah.
I could watch fishing for hours, but I'm not so much concerned with the fish catching. I want to see the decision making. I want to see how long did they go without a bite before they moved? Why did they move? Did they go deeper, shallower? Like I'm just enjoy being a student of fishing. And that's why I watch live, and I'll watch every minute I can. Like I'll watch all day, and I don't care if they ever catch a fish. Like they could cut away every time they caught one. Just tell me they caught one.
me personally, I like when they go back to the studio and they start doing that commentating and analyzing and stuff. I'm just kind of like, can we just go back to the water yet? I mean, I enjoy watching Tommy Sanders and stuff and Davey Height, but it's like, come on, guys, let's go. JT Kinney, the other dude, same thing. Like, I don't care about looking at you in a suit and tie in a studio.
Yeah, and I can't tell you the last time I watched an MLF event. And it's not that I don't want to, like the invitationals or the BPT. It's that for some reason, I guess I'm just not in that algorithm, and I don't get if Bass is on live, like I'll get an update 7 times that morning, and I'll be like, oh yeah, Bass is on. But BPT, they'll be on like day 4 before I even know that they're at an event.
Same
And
here.
Yeah.
Like, how is that market? Like, somebody in their marketing is screwing up big time. Like, because all I do is research fishing and watch fishing videos, and I should be in their algorithm somewhere. And I'm
Too
not.
much fishing boat docks.
Yeah, even the invitationals, where they go one day with, one day without. Like, I had no idea when they had that boat wreck and everybody was going crazy about that. I didn't even know they were having an event. Had no clue. And I love Smith Lake. I would have definitely watched that.
Same here. Same here. And what a nasty deal.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see the end of that for years, probably.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, that lake, I'll tell you, I've cut some points on that lake at high rates of speed, and I can understand how an accident like that can happen, because I was doing it and I was the 18th boat in line doing it, like I wasn't leading the pack. I was just following trails. And so I could definitely see how something like that could happen on that lake.
I like to died, like didn't die, but like to died the morning we fished a tournament. It was out of Red 11. It was Anglers for Christ is what it was years ago. And there was like 80, it was kind of starting to get popular that year. And there was like 85 boats in that tournament. And the reason why it didn't last, I think, is because it was just so not organized at all. And like the final nail in the coffin for me was he got to like boat 10, and I was sitting there thinking, I can't even see past the last dock on the right side. And we're like up there by the rock pile that comes out up there by the ramp. And he gets to like boat 11. He just says, "Oh, just go." And I'm like, what?
What?
And I put it on pad and went to the immediate east bank and just got out. I was just and it was foggy. Like it was foggy. You could not see past the islands whatsoever. You couldn't see Brewer's Point over there. You couldn't see the mouth of Hickory Creek or Greenbrier, I mean. And I was like, stupid.
That's how we took off in the BFL this year. The first BFL, it was I mean, he's out there. Alan says, "Let's see what this fog is going to do." All right, boat number 1. And I'm like, "What?" Like, I can't even see you.
Yeah. It starts with the tournament director, and I mean, unfortunately, Danny knows this just as well as anybody. And if John was on here, I'm assuming he would say the same. But it's their call,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever the tournament director says is. I've said it numerous times. Whatever the tournament director says is the you got to treat as the gospel. I mean, if this weekend, if Mark Moody, being the tournament czar that he is, says we can't go in the campground cove, then we can't go in the campground cove. It's
Oh yeah.
tournament director.
Yeah, I didn't like when I went to shut down under the bridge to go under the bridge. I was under the bridge, like, and I was going just fast enough to stay on pad.
Yeah,
And
that's just too much of a risk.
yeah, I just looked up. I'm like, oh, there's the bridge. I mean, I knew it was coming because of my graph, but I'm like,
Yeah.
where is it? Oh, there it is. And I shut down, and I'm right there. And then it got worse. Like I ran around the corner into Cary Bay and fished in there. And then when I went to leave there, like I'm looking at my graph, and you know how it kind of is slow to update your direction. I'm on pad. I'm going the wrong way. I'm going at the bank. I got to turn back and go the other way. And I can't see anything, any direction. I'm like, this is dumb.
It's kind of. I'm not ragging on tournament directors, but 6:15 Saturday morning was a little early.
Oh, he does that you start in the dark every time with him.
Little early.
Because all he does is look up sunrise, and then 30 minutes before is legal fishing time, or legal, I guess it's always legal shooting time, technically.
Yeah.
30 minutes
before, turkey.
If you can shoot, you can fish, you know?
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's right.
Whatever they say, I guess. It's always been that we were kind of laughing about it as we were sitting in the truck, and the squall line was coming over at 6:20.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm not going out there in this. Christmas.
I was in there were boats, so there were boats in, and they were scrambling to get under docks when that rain was hitting, because it hit like 3 or 4 minutes before you could even start fishing. So they were like trying to get in docks and moving around. And
over there, or around in that area where you put in, it gets pretty dicey.
Oh, it can, yeah, for sure. For sure. But that was a north wind that day, so everything was pretty protected on that side of the lake.
Hopefully we have some nicer days to come this year.
They can't get much worse.
What tell us about your rain suit. You got anything? I like to
yeah, here we go.
I like to interview guys about their rain suit, their foul weather protection. What kind of, from head to toe?
I've been using Gill for 4 years now. And in all, like, that day was raining, but my shirt was dry, my pants were dry. Like, I don't know. Gill's really good. Before that, I used 100-mile-an-hour gear is what I used. But yeah, I switched to Gill and that stuff. Now my boots, I just wear my old muck boots that I go out and feed cows with or whatever. I just knock the mud off of them. Now they're fishing boots. But and I'm a big boy too, so I stay hot. And so even though it was like 50 degrees or whatever the other morning, like I had a t-shirt and some thin pants under my rain suit, and I was still sweating. At like noon, I turned to my team partner. I was like, "I feels like a sauna in here."
Do they have an insulated and a non-insulated?
They do. My bibs are non-insulated, but they're windproof, waterproof. And then my coat that I was wearing was insulated, but I also have a non-insulated, but I wore the insulated one that day. And I only wore it because it covers your face better when you're running, and so it keeps the water out better than the light jacket has a bigger opening in the front, so when you're running somewhere you take a lot of water in. But
Gotcha.
the big coat, it'll cinch down, you see nothing but my sunglasses.
Nice.
But yeah, that honestly, and I don't even own their newest stuff. Like I'm cheap too. Like it's got to be on sale or whatever if I'm gonna buy it. But if it is on sale, I'll spend, I'll buy 100 of them, whatever. But so like I think I paid like $100 for my bibs and maybe 120 for the coat, which they were 500 a piece when they were, the new thing.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Looking at the comments over there. Well, one, Richard Kiblinger. Hi, Richard. Talking about last weekend in the fog. Devin Pino chiming in there with his Sims gear.
Ooh,
Sims
fancy.
is great stuff too.
I used to have a Sims coat, a Sims Ranger coat.
Sam talking about the guide gear. Lots of good stuff on the market. I don't have any problem with my AFTCO stuff. I've got the Hydronaut suit.
I have a feeling I'm gonna be using my hook suit this weekend.
All
Yeah.
I know is standing around there at that Future Bass, there were a lot of guys with wet shirts and wet pants. I don't know what they were using, but it wasn't the right stuff.
You wouldn't have reckoned. I may have saw you at the weigh tanks and anglers in action, but I had a face mask on, a stocking cap on, and was shivering from head to toe and was not wanting to talk to a soul.
At the last one,
Yeah.
yeah, I messed up. They canceled our Bass Open at Norfolk, and I packed my truck in about 2 minutes and drove straight from Norfolk to the boat ramp, paid my entry fee, and got on the water at like 10:15. And when I looked at the weather, I was like, well, it's going to be 50 something. Like, I don't need any like fleece lining or anything. And I don't think where I was got above 40 the whole day. And I was frigid by the time I came, because I was wearing shorts and just a shirt underneath my rain gear. And by the time I got back, I had a chill to me.
I guess I'll buy Gil, fellas, because if he fished if you would have seen the amount of clothes that I was soaking wet in, of course I've had 100-mile-an-hour gear for 10 years, and I found out that day that all of it was going to decide to leak and all at the same time. So, I've been on the great hunt for a new set of rain foul weather gear for 2 weeks now.
Well, I can get you a 30% off discount code to Gil.
Well, there you go. I think you just
solves
made the
that.
decision for him.
I'll
Put a stamp on it.
after this, I'll go in and take a picture of the discount code and send it to you.
See.
Yay!
And even better, the 30% off even works on discounted items. So
Nice.
so you could get more than 30%.
When I've got a rod sponsor, they used to sell Gil on their website, and then I could get a discounted rate on it when they sold it on their website, and I never took advantage of it because I didn't know anybody that used it.
Well, I have quite a few of these discount codes, and I won't pay, like, even using my discount, I still don't buy the full retail price stuff. I use the 30% off and pair it with something that's already 30 or 40% off and get a way better deal.
It's the way to do it.
Just the way it's supposed to work.
I don't have to have the new stuff, I'm just trying to stay dry.
That's it. And economical.
Yeah. Yeah, but my wife will tell you, you're not saving money if you still spend $400.
Well, tell her that the next time she buys shoes.
Yeah, because then
Yeah.
started there.
In our house, it's shoes.
I'll get a tackle warehouse order in. She'll be like $400. I'm like, yeah, but it would have cost 1,000, like, or it would have cost 800. She's like, yeah, but you're not saving if you're still spending. Got it. If it's on sale, you got to buy it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I don't pass up a sale. I don't pass up a garage sale. I don't pass auction.
Next thing you know, you can't get butterscotch, those craws anymore.
Right.
You got to stock up.
I checked my shop to see if I had any. I didn't.
Boy, and Chris Johnson, he wasn't about to come up off any of them either.
Nope.
They were not for barter or trade or sale. Barter
Yeah.
or sale.
Yeah.
The only antique stuff I have like, I don't know, 30 or 40 of those old school wiggle warts. That's about all. But I use them. I don't save them. I don't keep them in boxes. They're in the tackle box, and they're all the right color.
What's your favorite color?
That red crawl or whatever it is. I don't know the exact number. I don't get into it. Just when I see it, I buy it.
209.
Yeah. If I come across them, I buy them, and I don't know why. I have more than enough to last me forever.
Yes.
But like I said, I don't save them. I don't put them on a shelf. I put them in the boat.
As do I. Well, I'm taking them out of the boat, but I think its season's about over for a while. But
And that water was still 60 out there today.
I'm fishing a lake this weekend with too much slime in it.
Oh yeah. That's me in Table Rock. Everybody says, "Oh, you got to throw a rock crawler or you got to throw a wiggle wart at Table Rock." I'm like, how? Like I drag back so much slime that I don't even want to try it.
There is definitely parts of the lake that you will come across in April that don't have slime, or if you maybe like you downsize your line a little bit and throw it on some risky stuff, and you can get past the slime, you will get bit.
Yeah.
Above and beyond other things like biggins.
But to me, like what I've done in the past with the slime is I just slow roll a chatterbait through there and just kind of fish it like regular grass. When I feel a little slime build up, just yank it off there and slow rolling, and I catch fish, but I can't get that wiggle wart through there.
Mike, we can't be circling back for you, buddy. You're just going to have to rewind all the way to the beginning where we were talking about Grand. But it's 7-8 feet high, something like that.
I think it's 6 feet high. Well, no, it might be getting to 7-8 feet now. Yeah, you might be right.
I saw some pictures. Brandon was telling us about a video he saw. I saw some pictures today. A guy had posted. It looked like you could jump off Sailboat Bridge and land on a pile and like walk around the corner to Red 11. Never touch the water.
Had to put your boat in 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Definitely done that before.
Amen to that.
Well, Brandon, man, I appreciate you coming on at short notice.
I enjoyed it.
I was I was riding back from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was like, I don't know what. I had an idea in my head because I'd heard we had a cancellation last minute, and I thought, what the heck? I'll see what I can do. So I it's nice to put a face to the name, and thank you for coming on, and hopefully we'll see you on the water at some point.
Yeah, sounds good. And I will say I've never seen any dead bodies, and I always stop at Bucky's.
America. America.
I got a new question that you need to ask your guests though.
Okay.
What is their pregame meal, dinner, the night before the turn?
Oh, good one. That is
Oh,
good.
no.
Just got a phone call.
That is a good one. Keep going.
He's been listening to the show. That was proof.
Yep. That's funny. Oh, I think he's
Brandon's a good dude.
back. He's back.
Hey.
Nobody ever calls me. I get 2 phone calls during this podcast. Yeah, what tournament starts on Thursday. What's your Wednesday night dinner to get you through tournament day 1? Because that's you can't be eating something funky and bubble guts on the water on day 1 of the tournament.
Oh no.
Yeah, you ain't going to no Mexican restaurant on the side of the road that you came across for sure.
Not just swinging into the gas station for some sushi.
No.
Learn from experience. Don't get a hot link at Tomcat at 5 a.m. either.
Oh God, no.
Tried it. Bad idea.
Oh, it does sound wonderful though.
No, I always thought that because I always try and plan something like throughout the week. Like, all right, what are we going to eat on Wednesday? When I'm out fishing the opens or something. Like, what restaurant are we going to on Wednesday? Or if we're cooking at the house, what are we cooking? Because it's got to be, I don't know, something that's not going to make my next day really bad.
Cheeseburger or fries?
Oh, there's been plenty of times that I try and eat like one really good, like nice meal anytime I'm out of town just to try, hey, what's the best steakhouse or whatever. I'll try, and I'll make that my one meal to get that big chunk of meat, get all that protein, energy. But sometimes we go to these places that don't have anything. But yeah, I always just thought, I didn't know if any other anglers might have a ritual, a pregame ritual, but
Maybe they just eat wherever and pack the dude wipes.
right. Well, I mean, I know a lot of the elite guys, they're cooking in their campers, so they don't. That's all they do 24/7, so they don't probably eat out a lot. They pack their food. They have a refrigerator. I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't go grocery shopping when I get there. I just go fishing. Well,
that's great. That's a great answer. Great plan.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Anytime you need somebody to fill in, let me know.
When you win, you got to give us the exclusive coming on, and you can't stick us up.
Okay. Yeah. I hope that's every weekend. Especially in the opens, especially at Leech. Not that I'd be, don't get me wrong, I'd be ecstatic to go to the Classic, but the next one, I don't know, doesn't look too appealing. Knoxville.
Hey, you never know, man. You might be surprised.
Well, just the way the last 2 events they've had there ended up, it was nobody was really catching them except for one guy. But that's how the Pasca tank went. One guy caught 120 something pounds, and nobody.
Yeah.
No kidding.
To win, he could have quit Sunday midday, or not Sunday. Sorry, he could have quit Saturday midday, not caught another fish, and just slept in on Sunday and won by 5 pounds.
Yep.
Oh, just insane.
Just straight smacked him.
Pretty much.
I don't even know if I could. I mean, you almost have to retire. How are you ever going to beat that?
Well, and then he went right down the street and pulled off a third at wherever they were at.
Day
in
two,
Cavell.
weighed the biggest bag of the tournament. Missed a day of practice. Day 2 leader, biggest bag of the tournament.
Yeah,
Almost went back to back.
Yeah.
that's a
Crazy.
pretty good week.
Did I also see today that Skeet Reese retired?
Yeah.
After the season, yeah.
Oh, he's
God, that just makes me feel old. Because I can still remember watching him on the Elites throw a big old giant swim bait out in Cali, and he was just somebody I always looked. He was somebody that I always kept up with when I was younger, and still have. I've enjoyed watching his career. He's always been somebody that he's just one of the OG guys. You know, I don't know what else to say about him.
I didn't read the article. I figured I'd wait to see his video or something, get it straight from the horse's mouth. But
I think he posted one.
I'm
I
sure.
haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but
Yeah, I hadn't had a chance to go find it. But
and he's not. I don't think he's going to quit abruptly. I bet I'm sure he's going to finish the year out. And to be honest with you, I mean, he's started that company of his, and he probably wants to concentrate on it and, you know, put his energy into that. So,
yeah, I didn't know anything about a company or anything, but I know that.
or more like a brand, I guess you could say, or something.
Yeah, I know. I've always been jealous of the rig he drives.
Yeah,
That is pretty sweet.
That's one of the rigs out there.
yes, very much. That is freaking awesome.
I mean, it probably gets like 5 miles a gallon, but
I was always a fan.
Maybe.
I was always a fan because he was a champion guy. I guess I'd have to say that. To
Mhm.
be honest with you. So,
well, all right, you fellas don't stay up too late chasing Bigfoots.
It's right behind me, man.
Too late.
Brandon, thanks, man.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
Appreciate
You too.
it. Peace. He's a trip. Nice
That
job.
was awesome.
Nice job right off. Just oh, hey, by the way, kind of like Brock,
Mhm.
you know, super sub.
I'm going to take just a real quick 20-second break because I heard my son was not inside and it's dark outside.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go shoo him in the house. I'll be right back.
We'll wait here. Cranker, maybe
Yo.
we should elaborate a little more on what you're gonna do with the video
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah,
received.
my idea. Yeah. Did you already put the flyer up or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
So I'm gonna throw it up. So basically, what my idea is to get, our viewers to submit a video of your favorite fishing memory, whether it's personally or with the KBN, whatever it might be. Just make a 30-second to 1-minute video, and then email that over to me at the email listed up there on the flyer here. And then at some point, I'm going to get all these videos together, and we're going to do an episode that will showcase all of the videos. And then we'll discuss the videos as they come up and we get to watch those. I think it'd be a good time.
It is a really cool idea.
So
That's cool.
we just want to get as much involvement in the show as possible for you guys.
So he's probably going to shoot me afterwards, but I'm going to tell you where this came from. The other night, I'm friends with many of Kyle's family members, and I believe it was his mom that posted a video the other day of Kyle's first bass.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 1995.
It was 93.
93.
Yeah. So I would have been,
He was a wee lad.
at the most, I would have been 4, but probably not even 4.
And it was a cute little video, and he's got that saved, I'm sure, for part of it.
Yep.
There were no motion picture cameras when I was that age.
Not for sale for personal use anyway.
That's for sure. But I do have a picture of my first fish saved, and I can get that one.
That's cool.
Might have a little special in there too.
Ooh. I think I have some. I don't know if I still have the original footage of what we have experienced together in a boat.
Oh dear.
I don't know if I'll be able to pull that. I'll have to see. But yeah, that would be a good one.
You know, it really hurt. It really hit me in the feels a little bit when guys say that they don't like throwing a floating worm in the springtime when they're spawning.
I don't know whether you're kidding or not.
I absolutely just, you guys talking about, favorite childhood memories and all this and that. And I'm like sitting here thinking to myself, I still love it as much to this day every year as I used to love it when I first started fishing. And that was back then, it was a sluggo, probably, honestly, but it evolved into a floating worm. And I'm like, I didn't pull it out of the boat last weekend because I knew Mark would give me a really hard time. But I told him this weekend, all bets, I don't care. We're in my boat and I'm going to throw a pink worm. Like, you can say whatever you want to say.
Wait a minute. Wait, whoa. You guys are fishing together.
Yeah.
You probably should have waited until next week to mention that. Just picking at you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're going out last boat. We're sending everybody off. We're going out last boat, and we're just going to have a good time. And he's bringing extra stogies just in case.
America. You put that damn thing on your line, and he's going to grab it and burn it off with that stogie.
And I'm hoping that I ain't scoping.
Oh yeah, true, Richard. I have that. I still have that. Patrick is a blast, man. At that casting deal at the Albra show. That literally the reason that I kept going for I've done it like 8 years now or something like that. Oh man. Definitely the crowd favorite. Ackerson just gets off the show and then he starts watching.
Well, and I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I think I know what replaced the floating worm, like the new version. It's a little more realistic. It's called a glide bait.
Yeah.
I mean, a glide bait is kind of in that same water column. It's definitely not the same profile, but it does kind of the same, little deal, and it hangs up there and it annoys the crap out of them. It's not the same color. I know it's not the same shape and all that.
You can get them in the same color.
But, I mean, think about it. It's a lot more appealing at the tackle store than a $4 bag of trick worms. Oh, look at this $450 or whatever you pay for those, Kyle.
Not that much.
$150.
Maybe that much.
Clutch glides, but
No. The darters are $250.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel a lot more confident maybe with a $250 bait on the end, but
And you throw them on 1/8" cable. You don't want to,
Yeah.
do not want to take a chance losing that damn thing.
But it can't be 3/16 cable because then it won't work right. So there's risk.
High risk, high reward.
Mm-hmm.
25, 25, and 25.
There ain't much better than watch a big old girl come out from a log or from under a dock and smack one of those things. It's pretty sweet.
Tie on a floating worm, and you will say the exact same thing. And you will save a heck of a bunch of gas money.
Well, since we're on the floating worm here, what's your ideal setup for a floating worm?
Ooh, well done, Mr. Crank. Give us a little something, Kiki. Give us a little something. How do we rig this worm up?
10-pound braid, main line, spinning rod. You got to have a spinning rod so you can just kind of.
Yeah. No,
Just
it's weightless, right?
Yeah, I guess
What's
weight,
that?
pretty much.
Well, me personally, I like a swivel about, a foot and a half or so, 18, 20 inches above. So I tie my braid to my swivel, and then I use usually somewhere around 14 fluorocarbon, 14-pound fluorocarbon to a 1/0 or a 2/0 trocar worm hook offset. And just on a spinning rod, and it's simple fishing. I mean, you just flip it up on the bank. You can be pretty accurate with a floating worm, but man, it's just fun. You may not catch a giant doing it, but you definitely catch numbers for sure.
Gonna fill your limit.
On the right lake, you can definitely find some fish doing it. I go back to when we were on Gunnersville in the Bass Nation regional years ago. I found a ton of fish with the floating worm. Did I catch all of them? Absolutely not. But you can fan cast that thing around, cover water in the spring, and find a lot of fish. And then you can attack them with something else. Nothing's holding your hand saying, no, you have to keep throwing this. So I like to use it to find fish sometimes, and then pick up something else and get after it with a flipping stick.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Kind of like, and it's really, if you think about it, it's kind of like the glide.
It's a good analogy.
That's the way I've always looked at glide baits and all the video footage I've watched of it. Of course, a lot of the guys on social media are just going to show you the success that they had with it. But like, I've watched Carl Jacobson. Oh my gosh, it's a giant, and never hook any of them, and then pick up something else and catch them. So he uses a glide to find them,
True.
Good
true. Stuff. Good stuff, Kyle. Thank you. It's one of those baits that I don't think about. I've got them. I've got all that stuff right in my bag, but it's just one of those things I don't think of.
Just simple fishing, man. You can throw it on a lake, you can throw it on a pit, you can throw it on a pond. We used to pond fish all the time from the bank when we were hunting morel mushrooms or this or that. And yeah.
Cool.
Most definitely.
If I ever get to go fishing again, I'm going to try it.
You need to. It'll take you back a few years, make you laugh a little bit when you get bit. And I don't like letting it set very long. It's more of a visual bite for me. Usually 99.9% of the time, I throw a pink one. I can see pink really well. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And I'm setting the hook when I can't see the bait.
Okay.
I might have to give it a shot now.
And you guys talked about, I got to get my notes.
Uh-oh.
Now we're getting serious.
Yeah. So you guys talked about something last week that you wanted me to bring back. And that was, something that we should do with our boats in the springtime. So I thought about it a little bit, and there's a lot of people on the water in the spring that just got their boat out of the garage. I mean, Kyle, I saw a picture of you getting your motor and everything fired up and fixing to take your boat out for the first time. So I asked myself, what usually happens to somebody with not so good luck at the boat ramp the first trip out? And that is running into the game warden or running into a park ranger at the boat ramp, and you're going to get a vessel safety check. So we all know what that consists of. And there's a few things that some people don't think about that you should probably check before you launch your boat. Nav lights front and rear, PFDs for everybody, not just yourself. And that means personal flotation. Okay, that does not mean something else derogatory. You need a fire extinguisher that is actually charged and not discharged. You've got to have a throw cushion. And don't ask the game warden if you're fishing by yourself, who are you going to throw it to? Because that is not a good question to ask them when they ask you if you have one or not.
That is oddly specific and seems like it was a personal situation.
Somebody has done this before in this room.
That will get you escorted back to the boat ramp and a ticket handed. You got to have a horn or a bellows whistle. You really should make sure your kill switch works.
Yes.
You need to make sure your bilge pump works, because we know that if you may or may not have had a hose crack, a pump crack, if you leave your boat outside, it got some water in it when it was raining and froze, there's a possibility of a pump cracking. And the only thing that might possibly save your boat from sinking is a working bilge pump. So check that. And consider maybe installing an automatic bilge. I know I've thought about it. Me personally, I don't have one. I need one. Fishing line around your prop on your trolling motor and your big motor. And something that a lot of people don't do on a routinely basis, and maybe not even do before you put it away in the winter, is if you have cable steering and that motor has set in the same position all winter, which is possibly trimmed up on a motor toter and straightforward, is turn your cable steering to where the rack is all the way exposed and wipe it off with an oily rag, spray it with some WD-40 and work it back and forth and try to prevent the cables from getting rusted up and hard to work. And then something that I do every spring is I call my insurance agent and I have her send me my insurance documentation so I can have it in my glove box just in case we get checked while we're fishing a tournament, because nowadays ABA, bass, they all have a certain expectation of the amount of liability insurance you need. And so that is an extra little check that I do to make sure I have enough insurance and that it's up to date. So you go over that little simple list of things. I'm sure I probably missed something, but that's pretty much a vessel safety check in a nutshell.
Good deal.
Good advice from the man that's may have encountered that
It was
check.
not a good day on Big Hill.
Only place in Kansas I've ever been checked, Big Hill.
By an old man on a jet ski.
It's a little odd.
Game warden. I
That's a
went,
good way to like sneak up on people, though, I guess.
I turned around and I said, "Excuse me," and I knew who it was when I saw him, and I went, "Okay." I didn't know, and I didn't have. It was a weird, awkward deal. I didn't have a throw cushion out and readily accessible, and I was young. I was like 17 and fishing by myself, and he said, "Where's your throw cushion?" I said, "It's in the rod locker." He said, "That's not good enough." And I said, "Honestly, I've got a question for you. What's that?" And I said, "Who's going to throw it to me?"
And you wonder where Max gets it.
He said, "I'm not concerned about you. I'm concerned about others that might be drowning, and you need to be able to throw it to them."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's
Well,
too.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
oh, look who it is.
What? No
Can
way.
we do an over under on how many crawfish John had?
Welcome.
We'll put it this way. We had 60 pounds and it's all gone.
Oh my.
Hi, Val.
And there was how many people here? No, we didn't have. There was probably 20 people here.
Oh yeah.
So, and most of them were rookies. I would say I ate probably 5 pounds.
America.
Wow. Very nice.
Where we are right there.
Do you have like a technique, loop, swoop, and pole?
Break, pinch, pull.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Just pinch, break it, pinch the bottom of the tail. Just barely grab that meat with your teeth and pull it out.
I like it.
Now, are you a true Southerner and suck the head?
So if there's juice running out of the head, you suck the head. If there's not juice running out of the head, you don't suck the head.
Gotcha.
Certain kind of boil that you like. Seasoning boil.
The same kind you can get here in the grocery store, Louisiana.
Zatarans?
No, Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
You know that yellow package? It's like fish fry, Louisiana fish fry stuff.
Yep.
It's basically the same thing.
Good stuff.
Cool.
I was surprised you guys were still on. But,
Why?
and I
You
would have
haven't even hit
joined.
barely 2 hours.
I would have joined earlier, but we had more people show up than I really thought we were going to, and I didn't want to leave them hanging. So
You
Sound
were
like it was a good time.
host.
it was good. It was good. Everybody had a good time. We've got some new crawfish lovers, and we know how to do it. And apparently, there's a place in Fayetteville that gets crawfish in daily. So, we can run over there in an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours there and back probably, and get us some whenever we want. Well, not whenever we want, when they're in season.
Heck yeah.
And we can probably do shrimp too. And now that I know how to do all that, we can do it.
I heard there was a good place to get shrimp in Neosho.
Really?
Yes. I like me some peel and eat shrimp.
Amen. I like anything like that. Crab boil, shrimp boil, crawdads.
Yeah. Me too.
So we had Brandon Ackerson on in your place,
Nice.
and then he was going to get in the truck and drive over and see if you had any crawdads left.
He didn't make it. I mean, we just finished, so if he'd have put it this way, we had enough crawfish left over, just enough for a little quart size, half of a quart, not even half, a third of a quart size Ziploc that we, peeled the rest of them and put in a Ziploc so we can have some etouffee.
Oh yes.
They usually.
Oh, yeah.
I think when I spent some time in Shreveport, we quizzed them quite a bit down there about what people decided they wanted, and it was like 3 to 4 pounds a piece per head or something. I mean, somewhere in that. I mean, 5 pounds is, I haven't ate crawdads in a while, and I'm hungry. But like 3 pounds, I went, okay, that'll do for a while.
Well, I mean, you buy them by the pound. I mean, you get like a beer tray. Most of those places serve them on a beer tray, and you get like 3 or 4 or 5 pounds. But that's everything. That's not the meat. So really, you're getting out of 3 pounds, you might get a half a pound of meat, maybe.
Yeah.
So you can eat a lot of crawfish and not be. That's what I like about crawfish. I can eat 5 pounds of crawfish, but really I'm only eating like a half a pound.
Maybe that's what bass. Maybe that's what bass talk about underwater at their club meetings.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can eat 5 pounds of crawdads and never move from this brush pile.
Yeah.
That's a great thought.
Moody's asking the big questions.
So the answer to that question is, if my batteries come in, and if I can get them installed, then I will probably fish Big Hill, since we have nobody staying at the lodge.
Since
Thanks.
the great flood hit.
Yeah. My batteries have got me baffled. So, I mean, I took my pastor and his 2 kids out yesterday, and just fun fishing. And we started at 7 o'clock. No live wells running, no cameras running, and 2 o'clock, I can't get my dang motor started because the batteries are dead. And I can't even jump. I've got trolling motor batteries, enough to run the trolling motor. I mean, I can tell they're weak, but not even enough juice in the trolling motor batteries to start them. Thank God, Cavell was on the water fishing and wasn't far, so I called him and he came and gave us a jump, and we finished the day with the motor running. So I'm not going out again without new batteries. This is the moral of the story. I got 1 in today. It was supposed to be 2, and I got 1.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Will you please share with the group how old the batteries that you have in your vessel are?
Damn old.
Okay.
Well, so the AGM And look here. Look here. Here, look over here.
Goodness gracious! Don't whatever you do,
Look,
keep the
look up
dog
here.
under lock and key this year.
Say Riggins. Somebody holler Riggins.
Riggins. Riggins.
Over here.
Riggins.
Over here.
Riggins. Come here.
Mm,
All right. Riggins. Don't run away.
Lock and key.
So Bree texted and wanted to see her dog, so she's probably not watching, but he made an appearance, Bree. Where were we?
How old your batteries were?
So my AGM cranking battery is not that old. It is probably, I believe we got it when we moved here. So 3 years. But so I run an X2 so I ran X2 power AGMs, which the first 3 X2 powers I got probably 8 years ago were fantastic. Strong, lasted like 5 years, and I switched the trolling motor batteries out probably 4 years ago. And immediately I could tell they weren't the same. Like it was one of them deals where, you know, they probably make them in a different factory now or something. But I could immediately tell they weren't the same. And then I switched out my cranking battery probably 3 years ago, and same thing. It was not the same. Like it didn't have the power that my previous same battery had. So switched them all out, and then it's been like 3 years. Let me back up. The last time I switched them out, they didn't have them in stock, and I had a tournament the next day. So I bought these not Sears, Diehards. I think they're Diehards AGMs, just to get me by the tournament until my X2 powers came in. Took them out, put in the X2 powers, and these Diehards been in storage for like 4 years. So when the X2 powers went bad this time, you know, a month or 2 months ago, I said, I'm going to try to charge these Diehards up and see if they'll work. And they charged up, which kind of surprised me. And I went fishing with them to Big Hill, that club tournament, not this last one. Yeah, not the Bone Creek one, but the one before that at Big Hill, where my batteries died about 2 o'clock. So they won't hold a charge. They won't. They're strong at the beginning, but they die pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
So
sulfated.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with my batteries, and that's why I need new batteries. I tried to order. I've been thinking about lithiums for a long time, but I'm like you in a rain suit. I cannot bring myself. Like it's weird because I'll spend $1,000 on a rain suit, but I cannot bring myself to spend $700 on a lithium battery when I got to buy 3 of them, you know, and a charger. So ABA has a sponsor, Watt Cycle Batteries. They're lithiums, and I started researching them, and I can't find hardly any bad reviews. Like you Google it and you see 5 or 6 guys that put them to the power test, tear them apart, cut them apart, and they all pass with raving reviews. And they're $250. They're a budget lithium battery.
Lithium's lithium, though.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it is.
so I asked my buddy Mark Moody what he uses for lithium batteries, and he said he bought a budget lithium battery that he's had for 3 years. They cost him about $250, and he hadn't had any problems.
And I bet you they're probably manufactured in close to the same facility.
They probably are. So I bought 2 troll motor batteries and a charger, and I'm still leery about the lithium on the cranking. So I called my buddy Tyrell Lucy, who's the Mercury service tech that goes to all the Bassmaster and MLF tournaments.
Is he hiring?
I don't know. So I called him and I said, look, I'm leery about, I've heard this and that, rumors, you can't run a lithium on on the Mercury, blah, blah, blah. I said, I got a 2012, so there ain't no warranty. So it's not going to void my warranty because there's no warranty. And he said, what are you looking at? And I sent him the link to these watt cycle batteries. And he went through everything that is required to start a Mercury Optimax. And this battery has it all. He said it looks like a good battery. It's rated, it's got the right ratings and it's high ratings. And he's like, I wouldn't be afraid at all to use that battery. So I bought that cranking battery, and all else fails if it doesn't work on the cranking battery part. If that part doesn't work for some reason, the cranking battery was a little more. It was like $420. But if it doesn't work, I'm out $420 and not whatever, and I can go back to an AGM. But then I got to put in a charger or just carry a charger for that battery.
Do you know how many amp hours those trolling motor batteries are?
They're 100 amp hours each.
Nice. They'll be
12.8 volt, 100 amp hour troll motor batteries. The cranking battery is a 1250 cold cranking amps, something like that.
which is a lot.
Which is a lot.
But the one way that lithium gets that is it says it's 12.8, and based on the cable diameter going from the battery to your motor is what voltage will have dropped. But you will probably have 12.8 on the battery, and you'll probably have 12.6 on the starter. It's like a 0.2 amp drop. So
Which is
nothing.
0.3 better than I have now when on a fully charged AGM. When I'm first starting in the morning, it's like 12.3.
Well, that's because that AGM's junk.
Yeah.
And your 100 amp hour batteries, we've covered this before, but the way that I always try to coach people on buying a lithium battery or buying a battery, lithiums are big on amp hours. Is, a lot of guys are using lithium batteries for like a dedicated power for their electronics, and you just need to add up. Look in the operator's manual of your electronics and add up how many amps per hour that unit is burning up. Add it up, so you got a couple of units that burn a couple amps per hour a piece. So you got 4 amps per hour. and multiply it by however many hours you're going to be on the water and add a few to it. And that's what you need, you know. It's pretty simple. Your trolling motor is not going to burn up 10 amps per hour. So you should be able to fish for a long time and not burn that 100 amp hour battery up.
And I think that see if I can see what the battery that I bought for the cranking battery was.
I'm not 100% for sure on some of them. I know my little lithium that I run my electronics with on the front of my boat is just a 50 amp hour.
So
And
so the cranking battery that I bought is a 12 volt, 100 amp hour, 1200 cold cranking amps.
that's quite a bit. That'll rip it.
So check it out. Check this out. Look who I got.
Oh no.
Go Tigers.
Mr. Dave Cavell, crawfish boiler
Coco
extraordinary.
Wheat. The best fisherman that never fished. Never fished.
You guys haven't met him,
Coco.
Coco?
Yeah.
Hey, Coco.
What up?
We're late to the party, man.
Yeah, I think so.
So you guys are having cold beers, crawdads, and a whole bunch of Tums, or what?
We don't need that. We don't need that. We season.
We don't need that.
Nah, we just having cold beers and tears because we up here on Grand Lake and we want to fish, but they canceled the bass cat tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just make sure you tell John you need an extra spool of toilet paper in the room.
We don't need that. We good. They do.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We're all good. Hey, we've been having a good time for those that are watching.
We were just
John's
talking about my battery situation. Well, these guys jumped it over yesterday. Got me back fishing.
I didn't jump him, but I mean, no, we jumped him.
Did.
We thought about it. Just kidding.
They were catching them too.
Yeah, we are catching. It is what it is. Just bear on the side of safety.
They were catching them the exact stretch of area that one Mark Moody told me to fish.
Nobody told us. It just looks right. So
This guy here that's giving me the evil eye. That's Mark Moody's partner. He don't like me to share any information ever.
Grand Lake is hard enough to do well in, and I definitely am not the one to share a whole bunch of information to somebody because very seldom do you want to follow behind me because I suck.
yeah, well, you followed 2 weeks ago and had a great day one, and just like you followed does, it'll make you poo-poo your pants on day two. So it falls out. Yeah, it is what it is. But this lake here, we're looking forward to this. This is a fun lake, and Justin, I mean, we're not catching like 8s to 10s, but we are catching the solid 3 to 5 pound fish. And, I mean, we can go out there, me and Corey can go out there and catch 100 12 to 14 inches if you want to, but I mean, you're not going to win with that. In the last day and a half, we kind of focused in on, and the bushes wasn't the deal, but the harder spots around the bushes have been the deal, and we just kind of think that, you know, fish still kind of relating back, whether they're coming or going or whatever you want to call it, but they're still on that original old bank, and man, it was getting pretty silly for me and him, but hey, it is what it is.
Sometimes it seems like
So after when we found out they called this deal, we were like,
have some fun.
we're gonna go have some fun. We quit setting the hook, we quit doing everything, and we went back and started wrecking them today. So no mercy on these bad boys. Yeah.
Depends on the time of year the water comes up. I think usually it's usually when it's a little bit warmer in the summer or whatnot, but like we get these nasty rains, the water comes up crazy and they'll follow it up and you can actually catch them on a frog and it's a blast.
Yeah, we did that too.
We frog was not a bad deal today either. So
Not all of them, but a
not
few.
all of them, but a few. But
Yeah.
The ones that moved up with the water, you catch them on a frog.
Yeah.
But really just a D-bomb, beaver, and green-bladed delta lure or any kind of chatterbait type deal is the real key,
Nice.
especially in the wind. So,
There you go.
we're gonna let y'all play. We're gonna go back outside and cause havoc.
Well, normally we end in 2 hours, but I jumped on here at 1 hour and 58 minutes, so they just like I do, and drug it out some more.
Man, we should have added Lee Lissy and Logan and Caleb Summerall here. We'd have just a hell of a cool-ass party.
Oh yeah.
Hey, guys, God bless y'all and y'all be safe.
Good fishing,
Take
man.
care.
You too, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
He should have T-shirts.
Did you see his shirt?
I did.
I couldn't read it.
You should have seen so everybody that came to the crawfish boil was from my church tonight. So you should have seen some of them trying to read the shirt and figure out what it meant. And it wasn't nothing bad. It was a Missile Baits shirt, and it said, "What would Jesus flip?"
That's great.
I was actually one of those that was squinting trying to read it. I'm not gonna lie.
It said, "What would Jesus flip?" And it had something about, D-bombs and stuff like that underneath it. It wasn't nothing bad. It was
That's
funny.
So coming up this weekend, Bass Cat is canceled, but the Becky Minor weekend is still on. Big Hill Saturday, Stockton Sunday. See Mark Moody. He'll point you in the right direction. Kansas Bass Nation College Championship at Perry this weekend. And Kansas Bass Nation Team Series, that's Kansas Buddy Bass, is at Mozingo. Never been there. Sounds like they catch them there. And I don't think it's any bigger than Big Hill. TBF Kansas High School Championship on Saturday at Melbourne. So lots of stuff going on around the area. And there's our awkward silence.
Here we go. So if I get my batteries in, Kyle, I'll see you on the main lake at Big Hill.
Look forward to it, man.
Because I imagine the old creek is chocolate milk.
Which may not be a bad thing.
May
It
not.
just may be a little risky to navigate. That's all.
I mean, it shouldn't be that bad. Shouldn't be that.
It made it up to 860. So
What's that?
2 feet high.
But I thought I saw somewhere, failure, or maybe it was in a text I sent. He thought it was down already, or coming down already.
Yes.
But we're supposed to get some rain, so maybe it might come back up, I guess.
I hope it stays where it's at. I think it'll be beneficial,
Yeah.
especially from, since I'm calling in playing hooky tomorrow and planting a whole bunch of willows in a foot of water.
Hmm. Hmm. I wouldn't even jokingly say that out loud. Because that is a no-no.
Well, there's just a mysterious beaver that does that occasionally.
Ah, okay.
Big brown beaver.
Yeah, big one. Slaps his tail on the water, causes ruckus.
Big brown beaver.
Where's Bucky's swim trunks when he's doing it too?
Oh my. First liar don't have a chance, man. Good show for. See, we don't need a plan.
Oh yeah.
We're becoming professionals.
We're coming up on a year of doing this. We don't need a plan. We just sit down, start talking. And Brandon gave us a new question to ask everybody because that's cool. That was a good idea.
What was that question?
Ask everybody their pre-tournament start, first day, whatever their meal is the night before.
Routine meal.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one.
He decided on what rain suit he's going to buy, at least brand.
Maybe.
Oh, here we go.
Which was?
It's all depending on certain things. They have to fall in place, guys.
Which was what? What was it?
Well, currently, I just went with a cheapie from Academy, and so far so good. But I'm just getting myself by for a while. I'm just getting.
I don't feel like I can dog you when I just bought a $250 lithium battery. I spent more on my rain suit than I did on my batteries.
I'm probably going with the same brand of rain suit that you wear.
Wise choice. Just my opinion. Wise choice. Did you all talk about your fantasy picks?
No.
Do we want to do that? I mean, it's late, but I think we should do it, but just go really fast. Like go through them. Not even why, just this is who I picked.
Well, I mean, let me get there.
I'm so far behind everybody that it doesn't matter anyway. But
can I just run the questionnaire since last Elite Series I didn't pick anybody because I was an idiot and forgot. And so I may have
done that too. That might be why my score is so low.
I give up.
Yeah, you can run it.
Just let me know when somebody has.
I'm ready.
Somebody's ready.
What are we? Which one are we doing now? The fantasy fishing?
Just the main fantasy one. I don't get any of the other ones.
Okay.
Let's just say, let's go with Crank.
Okay.
And let's say Bucket A.
Yep. Bucket A, Trey McKinney. Bucket B, Jason Christie.
Hold on. I got to write these down.
No. Oh, Bucket C, Justin Hamner. Bucket D, Easton Fothergill. And Bucket E, Matt Airy.
And what's your weight?
Oh, winning weight. 78.9.
Nice.
So nobody did any. You didn't do the other one?
No,
Any of the others? Not even the pick'ems?
no, not yet.
All right.
DB.
Current Angler of the Year leader, Will Davis Jr., Patrick Walters, Jordan Lee, Dark Horse, Alex Wetherill, Mark Frazier. 72-4.
What?
Why'd you pick Wetherill when he's in the same? Why'd you pick Wetherill? Any certain reason?
He was. I really don't know. I don't remember why I picked.
I was going to ask about the Mark Frazier pick, but
I was gonna. I thought about Mark Frazier actually, but I didn't end up picking him. I did think about him, but I did not think about Alex because there's a big stick in that pot that I picked.
John picks.
Okay. Bucket A, Will Davis Jr. He's won on that lake.
I watched it.
Nation. Yeah. Bucket B, Patrick Walters.
Mm-hmm.
Bucket C, I'm going out on a limb on this guy because I really don't like him and I think he sucks, but Brian New.
Okay.
I just once in a while he just comes out of nowhere and has a good tournament. And then,
He's from North Carolina.
he's from South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Oh, I thought he was from North.
He's from South Carolina. In bucket D, I went with the favorite, Brandon Cobb. And bucket E, also a winner on this lake, Caleb Summerall.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Cobb is going to probably win the whole thing. I mean, he's
and
one
my
of the
weight, and my weight was 78.5.
Oh,
Very interesting.
Now that you've heard everybody's picks, you can put yours in now, Kiki.
I'm out. I screwed up last week and didn't put any picks in.
You
never
can win
know.
this tournament though. You pride bragging rights on this one tournament.
I'm kind of getting into this fantasy thing. I wish they did it for all the events, even the nation.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't even mentioned the third Nation Open starts tomorrow at the James River. Chris Johnson fishing that, driving all the way to Virginia.
Dang. Go, Chris. This is going to be his. That's his type of fishery, though.
Yeah.
He could do good.
What is your type of fishery, John?
What is my type of fishery?
I've always been curious. I haven't asked this question to any of these guys in this screen, by the way. And I've always been curious, like, what is everybody's just, I know we're at 235.02, but what is your prime time, like, besides I'm going to Minnesota, because I heard that 60 million times.
I think anywhere that I can fish shallow and flip a tube and and feel like I really have a shot. That type of lake is probably my type of fishery. Like, I think Grand is my type of fishery. I think I can go around here, and not all the time, but any given day you could pull down a stretch of docks behind them and catch 20 pounds of fish. I mean, you guys proved it. Or Big Hill, I feel like I can go up the creek and flip, or stay out on the main lake and flip laydowns or whatever. That's my type, I think, of fishing. I don't really have, I guess I mean, I don't really have like, you can't say that I go up the river every lake I go to, because I don't. I don't go up the river here, or I haven't yet. I mean, I'm talking, way up the river. Like, we know when John goes to Big Hill, he's probably going to be above the bridge fishing up the creek. We know that. Everybody knows that. And some of the other lakes that are like Big Hill, I probably would do the same thing. But for some reason, I don't do that a lot here on Grand, So, I don't know.
Dubs?
A lot the same. I guess if I had to pick one thing to do, fishing grass, shoreline vegetation, pitching the grass,
Watching it move.
lotus pads. Oh yeah, I mean,
that's
pitch that big old nasty bait in there and watch the weeds go like this coming to it. That's hard to beat, man.
And try not to set the hook before you feel him.
Yeah,
because he's coming.
And then you got to drive the boat back in there 6 foot to get to him in the reeds.
Oh
yeah.
We got a score tracker update there in the comments for you.
I see that. It's because we got the worst bullpen in the history of mankind. I mean, we were up 7-3 or 7-4 at one time and then the bullpen came in.
Cranker?
Let's see. I would say mine's pretty similar to Danny. I mean, if I could put 3 rods on the deck of my boat and go fishing, really fun day, it's going to be grass, cattails, 60-pound braid, flipping stick, frog rod, and a swim jig.
Just getting nasty with them.
Oh, yeah. 4-wheel drive, just putting the stick to them. Yep.
Cool.
But I also, on the flip side of that, I really enjoy finesse fishing. I will throw a drop shot a lot. And I think that's partly because I fish out of the back of a boat so much with, tournament stuff. I learned that a drop shot is a very powerful tool from the back of the boat.
Yeah.
But it catches big fish too.
Sure.
Got a lot of big ones on it.
I like throwing the old, I call it a flick shake, but it's just weighted wacky rig, like a BMC hook.
Yep, those are good too.
That's about as finessey as I get. Maybe a shaky head.
Flick shake.
But yeah, I like that a lot.
I would like to visit some shoreline vegetation with my newfound floating worm rig information.
Ooh.
And
maybe we should take a trip to McPherson when the cattails get up, Danny.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'd like to just find some shoreline vegetation.
Also that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not allowed that
Well, you should be able to find it very easily on Grand with the green grass in the front yards.
Right. Yeah, but
That's
that's
not
not
very tall vegetation right now.
going like that.
It's vegetation. Go to somebody's yard they haven't mowed the fescue in a while. You'll be good.
Yeah. What about you? What's your lake?
I haven't necessarily found it yet. I really, really enjoy digging a trench with a crankbait.
Yeah.
Like just whaling a Series 5 and just getting bombed. But I mean, I like braiding frogs too, but it just doesn't happen often enough that I get to do it repeatedly. So I like throwing a big crankbait and just digging a trench with it and just getting ripped.
Speaking of getting ripped, I'm going to guess that C. Wheat is Coco. He says the beer's still cold, and I'm a little jealous.
241, fellas.
Strawberry.
With the record.
They brought some kind of strawberry beer that went excellent with crawfish. It
Sounds
was
great.
delicious. It was delicious.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's got to be them because we had the Cubs on the TV out there, so they're out there watching it.
My wife tells me I need to go tend to the dog.
Go tend to the dog.
I probably do too.
Guys, thanks for watching. It's been a great Tuesday night. Just whatever happens, happens.
Sorry I was late, but look, it caused you to stay up 42 minutes later.
That's
New
right.
record.
See you Saturday.
Guys, be safe. Whatever you do.
Maybe, hopefully.
We'll see you guys next time.